So you need a refresher on how to use latitude and longitude, am I right? Well, here's the thing. It's pretty simple. You may have learned how to do this differently in the past. I'm going to show you my two-step method. So the first couple things you need to understand is these lines right here that go from east to west and west to east. These are latitude lines. They are straight, they are horizontal, and they are always going to be straight like this. Your longitudinal lines, your longitude, they go north and south, just like this. And you can see that as you get towards the outside of the Earth, you can see that they start to curve. That is definitely something that you need to note. So latitude or fatitude or flatitude, that's how you can kind of remember that latitude is fat because it's the width of the Earth, or it is flat because it's never curved, it's flat. And then your longitudinal lines, your long lines like this, go north and south. So your 0 degrees latitude line right here, that is the equator. And I'd say that's probably an easy one that most everybody knows. But what you might not know is that this line right here, 0 degrees longitude, this is the prime meridian. So you have the equator and you have the prime meridian. Those are your 0 degrees latitude and longitude, respectively. So those are two lines you need to keep in mind because that's where you're going to be starting. Now, let's say for a second that you want to find a spot on the globe right here in North America. So we're going to say right here where this dot is, we're going to try to find the coordinates of this dot. Step one is you always start at the equator and determine whether you have to go north or south. If you look down here at the compass that's in the corner, from the equator to get to North America, I have to go north. And then if you notice that on the left and right sides of the globe, you have your degrees of latitude labeled. Each line is 20 degrees that you can see right here. So if I'm starting at the equator and I know I have to go up here, I have to go north from the equator, that's 20 degrees, that's 40 degrees. So I know that this point is 40 degrees north. That's step one. Then you go to step two, you find the prime meridian, 0 degrees longitude here. You line up with wherever you're trying to go. So I'm trying to go right there. So I'm going to line up on the prime meridian right here. And I know that I have to go west of the prime meridian. So from here, I'm going to go west. I will also notice that these lines of longitude are labeled. Now, it looks like, if you look at the top of the screen, it looks like they're every 40 degrees. However, you'll notice that they're offset. For instance, this line is 20 degrees, this line is 40 degrees, this line is 60 degrees. So every line, just like latitude, every line is 20 degrees. So here I am at the prime meridian. I know to get to this point right here, I have to travel west, and each line is worth 20 degrees. So this is 20 degrees, this is 40 degrees, this is 60 degrees, this is 80 degrees west. 40 degrees north by 80 degrees west. Now, you might be wondering, well, what if we're just focusing on the United States? This is American history after all. So it's the same process, but the only difference is you will see that there's no equator down here and there's no prime meridian over here. The equator would be way down here and the prime meridian way over here, so you don't see it. If you are just in the United States, you can know that always 100% of the time your coordinates will be north of the equator and west of the prime meridian. But the same principles apply. I'm still going to work from the equator. I'm going to work north, and I'm going to work west from the prime meridian. So now this line right here is not 0 degrees. This is 25 degrees latitude. And on this map, each line is not 20 degrees like before. It's 5 degrees. You'll see that the latitude is 5 degrees, as is the longitude. The longitude up here, you can see, is also being measured 5 degrees at a time. So if I'm trying to find our home right here in West Salem, Ohio, right here where the red dot is, I'm going to work north from the equator, excuse me. That's 25, that's 30, 35, 40. If this line is 40 and this is 45, what's a good estimate for this dot right here? I'm going to say about 41 degrees north latitude, and then I'm going to work from the prime meridian this way. So if this is 70, as it says up here, and each line is 5 degrees, this means it's 75 degrees. This is 80. And if I'm coming right here to West Salem, I'm going to say it's almost halfway between 80 and 85 degrees. So I'm going to say it's about 82 degrees west longitude. We said 41 degrees north and 82 degrees west. So your coordinates would be 40 degrees, 41 degrees north, 82 degrees west to get to this dot. That's how we would do it. Now, to practice, here are some cities across the globe that we will try to find the coordinates of. Let's first start with Houston right here. So I've got a red dot. I'm going to find the equator, which is 0 degrees latitude. I'm going to line up my finger or my dot right here. And from my dot, I know that I have to go north to get to Houston. Each line is 20 degrees. So this is 20. This is 40. It looks like it's about halfway between 20 and 40. So I would estimate that it's 30 degrees north. Then step 2, I will go to the prime meridian here. I will line up my finger or my dot, and I know I have to go west to get to Houston. Now, it might seem childish to count every single line, but as I've highlighted, it's kind of hard to follow these lines. So I'm just going to count each one. So here I'm at the prime meridian. That's 20, 40, 60, 80. That's 100. Now here's 80, here's 100. I'm going to say that it's more than halfway. I'll call it, I don't know. I'll call it 93 degrees west because I think it's a little bit more than halfway between 80 and 100. So I'll call it 30 degrees north by 93 degrees west for Houston. Now, if I go over here to Phnom Penh, Cambodia, I'm going to use the same principles. Find the equator, line up. From the equator, I have to go north to get to Phnom Penh. Now, it's not even 20 degrees from the equator. So I will estimate that if this is halfway, it's a little bit more. I'll call it 14 degrees north latitude. Then I'll go over here to the prime meridian, line up. Okay, here we go again. I have to go east to get to Phnom Penh. Each line being 20 degrees, there's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. It's a little bit more than 100, but not quite halfway between 100 and 120. I think I'm going to call that 103 degrees east longitude. 103 degrees east longitude. So that's it. That's pretty much all that I have for you. Use this video to refer back to as you're doing your latitude and longitude assignment. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Good luck.